Today, prepare to witness the new biggest Monkeyopolis of all time. Surprise, surprise, the addition of Desperado has everything to do with this, because with its middle path ability starting at tier 3, it gains an ability where you can give this village more range. And note, if you upgrade to tier 4 or tier 5, this buff becomes even bigger. They can't stack, just the second buff will override the first one. And I gotta say, that's a pretty big range difference from just one tower. Here are all the ingredients we need to create the biggest Monkeyopolis ever. First things first, we're gonna head on over to Monkey Knowledge, support section, and we actually want to disable these two knowledges specifically. Flat pack buildings will make the base farm cost 2% less, aka $30 on Impossible mode, as well as this upgrade, farm subsidy, will make each mana farm cost less. I could just disable Monkey Knowledge completely, but instead what I'm going to do, because I want Monkey Knowledge, is I'm going to respec completely, and buy every Monkey Knowledge back except for that tree. It should be noted that we do this because the amount of money that the Monkeyopolis makes is based on the cash amount of the farm, so much to my disappointment, you do not want to discount any of your farms. You instead want to make them as expensive as possible. I just realized you can't buy any more knowledge on the right trees unless you buy this one, so rip all of these over here. That's fine. Step 2, Bloons on Impossible mode. Impossible will increase every monkey's price by 20%, so that's 20% more money that the Monkeyopolis can make compared to medium mode. And yes, as annoying as it is, we're gonna try to build it legitimately in a real game, so no starting with infinite cash or any of that. We'll drop our hero Etienne down. I'm gonna move his placement later, but the reason we bring him is because he got buffed. Back in version 48, he made it so that he can give a 20% range bonus on any monkey in his radius, including village. That didn't increase the max Monkeyopolis potential even more, because his Zeale's Totem gives the same amount of range, but given that Etienne is permanent, figured it'd just be easier to get. Anyway, we can't continue without talking about the previous record, or at least I'll start with telling you that 3 years ago, I attempted this biggest farm challenge, and I got up to over $300,000 per round. I believe 58 420 farms I was able to sacrifice on this very map, which was a record at the time. Although, as far as I'm aware, the biggest possible Monkeyopolis was done in this post here, where 61 420 farms were sacrificed for $313,000 per round. So that is the benchmark we're comparing to. However, it should be noted that since then, Monkeyopolis got a devastating nerf. Instead of making $300 per 2k sacrifice, it's down to $200, so a whopping 33% less money made. So unfortunately, by biggest Monkeyopolis ever now, I should mean in terms of the amount of farms sacrificed and not the money amount. But at the end, I'll extrapolate for you to show you how much we would have made in the unnerfed version. Now, I'm gonna tell you in advance that the most amount of farms you can fit now in Bloons is 62, so one above the previous record. That is indeed the true maximum on this map, so unless they add something else in the future, you will not be able to top the amount of farm sacrifice here. Stop right there. Shortly after this run was completed, a groundbreaking discovery was just made, but more details on that later. We can also use the power of the new tower placement snapping feature, which allows you to fit farms very close together without as much of a hassle as before. Basically, it will save your last good position, so if I try to pull outside of range, but I can't get it to fit, then it'll snap back to the last placeable spot, and just like that, pretty much a pixel-perfect third farm. Greatest feature of all time. So here our first row of farms are complete. You can fit 8 on the very top row, and in case you're curious about the exact layout in advance, this is what we're going to be looking at. 7 rows, 5 of which are 9 farms, 2 of which are 8, and yes, you can fit 1 more farm to be sacrificed on that top left corner there. That's how you end up fitting 62 in this map first. I end up getting a monkey town with traps and rubber gold around here just because to accelerate my income, because building 200s is very slow income-wise. So for the time being, while I have a discount farm radius around here, I'm just going to avoid putting farms here and work on the entire right side of the map. We got a little bit of water in the way in the bottom right corner blocking us from placing farms, but of course what we can do is use the power of ice towers to freeze the water. And yes, you can place ice monkeys on water now. Isn't that awesome? So I'm build a snowstorm, and we can add a bunch of farms there. What you can do also, if the farm is mostly on land, is you can place the farm down and still sell it while keeping the farm around, so that's a pretty cool tech. Now a small update, we have fit 61 out of the 62 farms that we're going to place, and our village is going to be approximately over here. Just for reference, I bought an ace with centered path, just so you could see where the center point of the map is compared to where our actual village is. And now, in an incredibly satisfying manner, we are going to slowly upgrade each and every single one to 320 and then 420. In case you need explaining, then the reason why we go for 420 farms is because it's the most expensive tier 4. And no, you cannot sacrifice tier 5 farms, they have to be tier 4 or below. Bet you've never seen this many 320 farms in your life, have you? And that's why I have so much space in the middle. This is enough for almost a full width of a farm. So I can use this to put another village in the range of the Monkeyopolis and then thus make it bigger that way. And then more space for Etienne too. Now, one glaring omission that you may or may not have noticed already is the fact that where is the temple? Previously, last couple of times I attempted it, including the world record from before, they used a temple to give range, and it's pretty important because True Sun God gives a crap ton of range. Well, what if I told you that temple is no longer needed thanks to Desperado? We can substitute the True Sun God buff with the Desperado buff, and we still have enough range to reach. It's not going to be as good, let me tell you. Things are going to be a lot tighter, but it's going to fit. And before I upgrade these final farms to 320, I have to sell this for the discount. I accidentally messed up and bought this under discount, so I gotta rebuy it. And here's where the snapping will come in clutch. 1 pixel to place it back in. And I don't have to search for it too hard again. But every single sell cost of these should be 54.18. And that's how you know you didn't discount any. And now to sell Etienne, let's make sure or verify there is enough space for Etienne and another village. And indeed there is, just barely. Discounts only work for tier 3, so let's begin the slow build up to making this guy big. What we're going to need is Ultra Boost next. Although I guess for cost efficiency reasons, I'll upgrade to beer reps first. This will make more money for me and get me it earlier. Final stretch is now upon us. We got an Ultra Boost. We've got a decent defense. Now we just need to finish buying beer reps, of which we can afford like half a dozen of them per round at this rate. Oh, I caught one that wasn't upgraded to 420. It's hard to differentiate between 320 and 320 in a bunch, but 420 and 400, you can definitely tell. And slowly but surely, this thing's getting bigger. I'm getting bigger. Oh, sorry. It was still recording there, wasn't I? Anyway, the Monkeyopolis costs $5,000 times the amount of banana farms in the radius, so if we know we did it right, then it should cost $310,000 to upgrade it. 305,000 with the amount of farms we have on screen. Right now, we are currently gonna suck up 38 of them. How about with the next Ultra Boost? Up to 39. Slowly getting there. And just like that, we've done it. 61 420s. Let's get our Desperado now, too. So, the Tier 3 and Tier 4 do not stack, let me remind you. So you do not need to double up, you just need to buy a Bounty Hunter. The Tier 4 and 5 range buff is the same. So there's one. Let's not blast it just yet. 9 stacks now, suck up 41 of them. And then a 10th stack will get us 43. How about with a Desperado buff? 305? Beautiful. Now all that's left is to replace that one farm in the corner, rather the defense for the one farm in the corner. Gee, I sure hope I can actually fit this farm. Might be a little bit tight looking at the placement here. Perfect timing too, because the Desperado buff timed out, which is good because I don't want to discount this 60-second farm. So I don't need to replace that farm. But let's see. Drop this here. 420. Use this. And there we go. $310,000. Time to create the biggest Opolis possible in 3, 2, 1. Boom. And just like that, every single farm is gone. Let me just make sure I can survive round 120 here by getting, I guess, the super mines back. And let's take a look. How much does each crate make? There are 10 crates that the Monkeyopolis spawns per round, so just simply multiply it by 10. And we get $19,000 per crate, so $190,000 per round. A bit underwhelming, isn't it, when you consider that 300k was highs before. But of course, we didn't yet buy a Monkey City, which is a 20% extra cash generation. So now each crate should make $22,000, 824. So extrapolate that, 228k per round. And if you want to know the amount of money it would have made in the unnerved version, $300 per crate instead of 200, then that would be 342,360 per round, which kind of blows the 313,000 out of the water. And the reason for that is not just because of the one farm, but because of the fact we don't need to go for temples, which, on top of getting your range, also give you a discount on your farm. So that eats up a good amount of the bonus money per round that we can now actually get, because all 62 of these BRFs are not discounted. But actually, 62 is not the highest amount of farms you can get anymore. In what was some really, really bad timing, this Reddit post came out one day after I completed my run, where a discovery was made that you could place 10 farms in a horizontal line. Nothing changed between updates to make this possible, so it indeed took over 7 years of this game for somebody to figure this out, because it was very, very precise. The OP of this method said it only works on 1080p, however, other resolutions might exist. And in short, this is how you do it. The OP used the following coordinates for where to place the farm, where to nudge the farm at the start and at the very end. So if you follow the example there, you can fit it literally pixel perfect. Shout out to the OP2 iZenderus because they added a mod where you can keep track of coordinates in-game instead of having to use a third party. So to place the first farm, for example, I have to have the X coordinate on farm number 1 be at 142, and then have it be on red so I can enter nudge mode. And then move my cursor to 330, and then use mouse keys on Windows to painstakingly move 1 pixel at a time until I get to the 231 X coordinate. For some reason, you have to go 1 pixel at a time for it to work, so if you just snap your cursor to 231 and jump, then it won't work. So instead of holding the left arrow mouse key, I had to tap it rapidly until I get to coordinate 231, and as you see, it is placeable. However, if I did this normally without going 1 pixel at a time, like for example 142 and then 330, you'll see that I can't get the 231 coordinate to be placeable, only 232. So you have to do this with all 10 farms in this line here in order for it to fit. Yeah, that's a lot of extra work, alright. So painstakingly, I had to create a brand new run and a brand new setup to be able to fit the most amount of BRFs on Bloons here, which with 10 in a row now means I can place up to 66. I also changed the build-up to be a little bit more practical. Instead of building the final farms first, just get all the money I need first with the Banana Central and all that, and then sell to build everything at once later. Then I can put my full focus in building farms all at once. And now, run 100, we begin the mouse keys action. The first 2 rows don't need any mouse keying because you can only fit 8 up there, so they don't have to be pixel perfect, thankfully. However, for the 5 rows below it, we do have to use nudge mode for each one. So again, painstakingly, I had to shift the next 49 farms into the right spot 1 pixel at a time. It was so tedious that at one point I questioned my existence. Why am I even doing this? What is the point? But I found some motivation, and finally, after 10,000 years, we finished the first row. Look at that, 10 beautiful farms all in one line. I also ended up discovering a farm placing method later that was way less tedious. Instead of pressing 1 key at a time, mouse keys on Windows allows you to hold shift to slow down the acceleration. So what I did here is hold down the left mouse key while holding shift, and that'll move it 1 pixel at a time without skipping any during a frame, all the way to 231. And look at that, we can pull off the exact same tactic on this farm here. Now, I'm pretty sure you can use coordinates that are different than the one from the post. However, you would have to trial and error yourself to find that coordinate, so I just found it easier to follow what was there already. I contemplated using a macro at one point to do this, but thankfully, this tactic ended up saving a lot of time for me. And so fitting the final several dozen farms didn't take too long, probably under 1 hour, and playing 1 round every 8 farms or so, just to save them. And here we are now with 65 of them built. Now, in a very satisfying manner, we upgrade all of them to 320s and then 420s like last time. $1 million is only able to get me half a farm of BRF, so yeah. It's looking like a $2 million Monkeyopolis at this point. So about 10 more rounds to build the entire map of BRFs, and another 10 to get 10 Ultra Boost stacks on the village, which we're doing last. This is our new village spot here. It's a little bit lower than last time, but hopefully it is enough. So 10 stack, and because space is so tight in the middle, we have put Etienne down here, and I'm also going to use Desperado on Etienne to be able to reach the banana farm here. Before I build my last farm, let me just check if we are at 65 farms sucked up. It should say 325,000. Right now, Etienne's range has us at 41, and another boost here on Desperado gets us 320. Oh. Oof, I think it looks like it's this farm here that isn't reaching, so maybe a couple pixels to the right. It might also be this farm here in the bottom left. I guess we can suck it up and test and see. Nope, it's the one to the right. So give Village boost, and then give Etienne boost, and oh, there it is. 325. And now that we confirmed 65 hit, let's make sure the 66 does, and indeed, it's in range. And so now for the true biggest Monkeyopolis. It cannot go any bigger this time for sure, right? Right? 330k for C6. And there it is. Now, how much money does this farm make? 20.240 per crate without Monkey City. And now with Monkey City, 24,288. So 242,880 per round, ladies and gents. Is the biggest Monkeyopolis you can get in this update. And if we're talking about it pre-nerf, then that's a whopping $364,320 per round. Definitely not overkill at all. Now, there was another post on Reddit that used this new discovery to make 250k per round for a Monkeyopolis. However, that was for a custom map. That allows you to get 68 farms, by the way. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. It's funny because when the update dropped, I thought this would be a very easy task to do. But little did I know, people would discover something crazy for the very first time. And if you like farming shenanigans, then maybe check out this video if you haven't already, where I try to farm for the earliest Paragon possible to 300. With stuff like this, farming is fun.